It's high noon, and at high noon at the James W. Weiner Memorial Wellness Week at the World of Wellness. And of course, this is World of Wellness Week number 102. And we do not do one a year. So, we do a little bit more than that to get to that 102. Anyway, we're at Thursday. It's high noon. High noon is always bringing in the experts, doing a little discussion. And today we got a big treat for you because you've seen her before. She's back, the Chief Growth Officer for Nutritional Frontiers and the World of Wellness, Miss Kristine Glein, and she is the soul intelligence master. I know this from personal experience. Hi, Kristine.
Hey, good morning, Joe. I guess
you
I
know,
should say good afternoon now. We're
it
2 minutes
is. It's
in.
afternoon now, yeah. And it's even sunny here in Pittsburgh. I know Christine's coming to us live from Tampa. How's it down there?
It's sunny and warm as usual. So glad I
Stupid
could spread
question.
some
Yeah.
sunshine around.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Dumb question. Okay. That reminds me of that movie. Did you ever see that movie? My godsons and I were out last night. We were talking about the old movie Arthur. Did you ever see that movie with Dudley Moore?
Yes, a long
Right.
time ago.
And he was in the florist buying flowers and roses and all this stuff for Liza Minnelli, I guess was the girl. And the florist says to her, "What's it feel like to have all that money?" Because he's a millionaire. And he says, "It feels great." And the florist goes, "Dumb question, stupid question." What does it feel like? So, Kristine, what does it feel like? That's what soul intelligence is all about, right? I coined a phrase. I didn't. I stole it from Abraham Hicks, which is your emotions are the GPS to your life.
Oh my goodness, it's so
Mm,
true.
that's a good one, right? And but the
Absolutely.
thing is, our emotions are governed by many things, past and present, aren't they?
Yeah, no doubt. Emotions truly are the secret. And it's really interesting when you think about how much in business, right? We're told to stuff our emotions, not show our emotions. There's no
Right.
crying in baseball, etc.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's wrong. It's all wrong.
it's totally wrong. It's totally wrong. And
Mhm.
today I'm going to share how, what most of our chronic illness is actually
Mm.
trapped emotion,
Yes.
stuff,
Yeah.
trauma, patterns,
Mhm.
things that we can't access that are actually stuck in our subconscious mind. So,
Mm. And,
yeah.
I mean, we've had the benefit of having Christine at a lot of our meetings and training meetings for our team and our staff, and the beginning is always setting the intention.
Mhm.
And lots of times in that group and in that setting, you can see people. I myself experienced deep emotion, and it starts to come out, and you think, wow, I get this is I'm in a business meeting. Well, that's so what? It's coming out because it's supposed to. And I've had family members meet with Christine and do her actual sessions with her. And what a change, metamorphosis, and transition that's been made just from one session with
Yeah.
her on this. So I thank you once again for that.
You got it, Joe. It was my pleasure. It's really impactful when you're able to shift energy for someone and within someone. We bury most emotions and thoughts and beliefs and all of those things, and it clouds our ability to actually function and see in the world clearly. And as you know, chronic illness is something that's affecting most of us in some
Yeah,
way, right? Yeah.
right.
And the challenge with it is a lot of allopathic doctors wind up treating symptoms. Our functional medicine doctors, at least, are working to get to the root cause of the physical dysfunction. But typically, what's keeping somebody stuck and not able to heal completely and moving forward is that trapped emotion. So, getting to the root of it is what I do. And that's how I partner with our doctors.
Good. Well, lay it on them. I'm going to go get ready for the next one. It's all yours, honey.
All
Christine
right.
Line, everybody.
Excellent. So I'm going to dive in today and talk to you a little bit about what soul intelligence is. What do I even mean? We're talking about mind, body, and then soul intelligence. And I think everybody gets the idea of like IQ, right? All the stuff that's up in your brain. But what do I mean by, soul intelligence? The SQ, okay? The SQ is that inner knowing. Okay, it's more than just your intuition. It's actually being connected to that eternal part of you, that vibrant spirit within you. Often I see it as a bright white light within the center of my being. So, what soul intelligence is really the why behind the what. All right. It's what gives your life meaning. It's not just intuition, it's really your purpose. And so many of us actually are walking around through life disconnected from our true purpose. Many of us question, why am I here? Why did I choose to be here? What's my calling? What's my true purpose? And Simon Sinek is actually somebody who talks about how people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so why is that? It's because it's everything. It's what brings meaning to your life. There's really nothing more important. And your why comes from being in touch with your soul intelligence. I feel very grateful. One of the best things I ever did was made the decision to join Jamie Dorley and the team at Nutritional Frontiers in the World of Wellness full time. And what it allowed me to do really was bring my body of work not only to our teams, our internal teams, but also to our doctors and all of our healthcare professionals and those in functional medicine, really trying to help change the world. So talk about an incredible why, making the world healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. Could there be a bigger why? So it's really awesome to be able to bring all of this work together. And I don't know if you know of the marketing guru Simon Sinek, but he talks about how people, don't buy what you do, but they buy why you do it, right? And so, like I said, your why comes from being in touch with your soul intelligence, that true version of you, that authentic part, that divine spark of intelligence within you. And your what is really being human, right? Most of us are just kind of waking up and recognizing that we are a unique expression, a unique aspect of something bigger than ourselves, having an actual human experience. So, what does it mean to kind of live from this soul intelligence place or this soul led place? Well, it means to be connected to the best version of yourself. That I am all that I am presence. So think about you when you're the best version of yourself. What does that look like? How do you dress? How do you act? How do you feel? What's that swagger when you walk into the room, right? It's really being in touch with that divine spark of white light inside yourself and really to be in this greater state of awareness, that higher state of consciousness, a higher vibration of peace and love and joy more often. All right, well, that sounds really good, right? But how do you get there, right? When we're bombarded with negativity, crazy messages all the times, we're full of electronic information and distraction. Um, well, I'm going to back up a little bit first, and I'm going to talk about energy, right? Because that's where it all starts. Your energy, I'm energy. The only way we're seeing each other right now is because of energy and the internet. But everything is energy, vibration. Emotions like fear and jealousy and greed vibrate really low, where emotions like love and peace and joy and prosperity are at a much higher vibration. And our states of consciousness actually correlate to waves of frequency, alpha, beta, theta, delta. And you can actually measure these states of frequency and waves of vibration. Dr. David Hawkins did that in Power versus Force. And I actually have an expanded version of that chart that I use when I do a session with someone, because I want to see where do we start and where do we finish. And typically we're starting much lower and ending much higher, which is the goal, right? So most of us are just waking up to the fact that we are really, truly spiritual or energetic beings having a human experience. And that at the highest level of consciousness, the greatest truth is that we're actually all one. We're all energy and we all originate from that divine spark of animation. So, when we think about that, I want to talk about the 4 different states of consciousness. Okay. The best way I've seen it explained is this: the first level of consciousness is life is happening to me, right? That's the he said, she said, that's the drama, that's the victim, villain, hero, right? Where you're in the story, right? And there's lots of energy around that. There's lots of emotion. And we're kind of stuck in it and like, why did this happen to me? That's the first level of consciousness. Okay. And we all go through that. It's not like we don't, we don't ever go back there. But the next level is where I try and live. Between the next level and the second and the third level is where I try to hang out most of the time. So the second level of consciousness is life is happening for me. That's when you can kind of take a look at life from this higher perspective, like this is Life University. Okay, not the one located in Georgia, although I love that chiropractic college. What I mean by it is Life University, where everything that happens to you is for a reason. It's to provide you with learning and growth. It's an opportunity for you to expand your consciousness or shift something or learn something about yourself or learn something about somebody else, right? So you have to look at anything that happens to you as an opportunity for growth and learning. Even the challenging stuff, because quite honestly, we learn from the sharp edges, not from the rounded corners, right? You learn when you smack into some, oh gosh, I don't want to do that again. I'm going to step around it next time, right? All right, so that's the second level. The third level is life is happening through me. Ooh, that one's kind of deep, huh? Well, that's when, especially when I'm doing my work and when I'm talking to you now, I'm asking a higher power, something greater than me, the divine is what I refer to it as, to come through me, through my mind, through my heart, through my actions, and guide my message to you and to guide what I'm doing on a daily basis. Feeling really connected um, with the divine and asking the divine to help me be the best version of me today and make sure that everybody I come in contact with comes away with something better, that they feel inspired, right? So that's life is happening through me. And I try and work between the 2 states of life's happening for me and life's happening through me. The last stage is life is happening as me. That's that oneness state. Now, unless you're a Buddhist monk sitting at the top of the mountain, it's going to be really hard to attain that all the time. But if you think back to, and typically this happens for me in nature, think back to a time when you were out in nature, whether you're at the beach, by the ocean, listening to the sound of the waves, or whether you're walking in the woods and all you can hear are the footfalls of animals, or whether you're at the top of a mountain and all you can hear is the wind gently going by and then maybe the swish of the snow. You kind of get lost in that. Another way we sometimes get into this state is when you're doing something you really enjoy doing and you lose track of time. You're just in the experience. You almost lose a sense of self and we feel connected to one another. Okay, so that is life is happening as me. So those are the 4 states of consciousness. And like I said, I try and stay in the middle as much as possible. But the second I pull out into traffic and someone cuts me off, I am way back down the bottom. Okay, so I still am human. So I just want you to kind of understand the different levels of consciousness, right? But the the point is that we're all energy. We all come from that same place. So what do I mean um, when someone's in touch with their soul intelligence? Well, that means you're in alignment with your mission, your vision, your values, and your purpose. And when you're out of alignment, you feel stuck or stifled. Your life might have little meaning. You focus on accumulating stuff, right? And then you get disappointed that the stuff didn't bring you happiness. It's kind of like an out of tune piano or a broken radio antenna. You get some of the information or the music, but it's off, right? You feel it. So, you know, um, people, you may have heard a phenomenon that happened, post COVID called the Great Resignation. Well, that occurred, in my opinion, because people are no longer able to go on doing something they don't believe in or doesn't have meaning for them. It's out of alignment, right? The dissonance in frequency is too great. Um, and it's actually what I experienced in March of 2020. I unexpectedly lost my job, and for the first time in my career, kind of a wild story. I might get into it in a minute, but I distinctly remember having this powerful meditation where I was moved to tears. And immediately afterwards, I knew I couldn't possibly go back into corporate life. I had to fulfill my calling. I thought I would lose my breath if I went back to doing what I was doing. And I realize now, obviously, that it was my soul intelligence screaming at me, right? It was my why. I no longer felt like I had a choice. I needed to fulfill my life's purpose, my true life's work. Um, and people are now discovering like their why and being moved to do something that resonates with them. Something that's more aligned with who they truly are and why they're truly here. Ultimately, I believe we're all meant to be here to help and be of service to one another, to love one another as we love ourselves. I think that was one of the greatest teachings that, ever came out of the Bible. To me, there is nothing else. It's the reason for being love. Love yourself, love one another, love what you do, love how you do it, and ultimately love why you do it. I can tell you, one of the best things I did was join this company, and I absolutely love what I'm doing. I know I'm making a difference. I know I'm helping our employees. I know I'm helping our clients. I know our clients are helping even more people and patients. And that's what it is for me, right? To help heal the world mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and energetically. So, probably a really good thing for all of us to remember is that we are human beings, not human doings, right? We all get caught up in being busy. Many of us run from activity to activity. We stuff our days to where we've lost our connection to the divine, to one another, and even to ourselves, right? So I do think the collective timeout of COVID ultimately in the end was really good for us. I think it was a reset. I know there's lots of other things behind why that may have occurred, but the positive side, because I'm a big believer in life is happening for me, okay, is it really helped us refocus on our priorities. We were figuratively and literally told to go within, to stay home and spend time with your family, right? What is more important than your family, than your friends, than your connection? Many of us get so distracted by those shiny objects, like the next big thing, and then we feel empty when we actually get there. So what do? We push for more. Like once I get that car or I get that house or that person in my life, then I'll be happy. And we get so caught up in our heads and spinning around what we don't want that we wind up self-medicating. That's where a lot of our addictions come in, whether it's alcohol or drugs or sex or whatever addiction it is, because we don't want to feel, right? We look for any means of escape to fill the void, right? Not to have to feel everything, right? If you think about all your distractions in your life, like all your escape routes, whether that's like numbing out on TV or binge flixing, binge watching Netflix, um, you know, zoning out into sports or, eating, drinking, or even just working out like a lunatic, even though they can be good things, right? In balance, they can be pleasures. They can even ignite your soul intelligence. But if they're done to excess, they can become harmful to you. It's why you can't actually make happiness itself your why. That's really a temporary state because you're always chasing the next high. So The only way to feel whole mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually is to be in alignment with your soul intelligence. Like when you live from this place, when it leads your life, when you choose love of self, you're actually choosing to be in alignment with your higher self, the best version of you. And here's the best part, that's when you're happy, you're in flow, and you experience more peace and joy. And life becomes fun because you realize it's all about your experience, your expression of your most authentic self. So no matter what's going on in your life, challenge or triumph, you're in your zone, right? Um, Now, some of us out there, and I'm not naming names or pointing fingers, but you know who you are. They think our why is to make others happy at our own expense. Ooh, saying yes when you really mean no. How many of us do that? Okay. Many of us become people pleasers and then we're drained or codependent, overdoing, and we get resentful over time. Especially when we feel or like the other side, maybe when we feel we're no longer needed or we get rejected by a loved one. We're like chasing that connection and we believe the other is more important than we are ourselves. Or I work with a lot of people who their kids are grown or their spouses leave, and then who are we? What's our purpose? Why am I here? It's because we've made the other more important than ourselves. And so the only way to truly be happy is to be whole and at peace with yourself. Sometimes we're so focused on the other that we physically become ill. We actually try and take their stuff on ourselves. I know personally that's happened to me recently. So even those of us who are in the know occasionally slip and fall. Okay. But the neat thing is I have a keen awareness of it. And I also use other resources that let me know, oh yeah, I actually probably need to sit with that emotion. And why am I experiencing that physical symptom? And why is that happening? So to give you an example, I'm doing this because my left eye recently was blurry and I've had black spots and it's starting to improve now. Done a lot of things. And I want to thank any of those of you who have helped me physically and energetically to help shift it. But it was because I was seeing something and someone in my life that was suffering that I couldn't help. And then my hip went out and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like my whole left side. Well, if you know anything about the body, the left side of the body is about receiving. The right side of the body is about giving. The left side is feminine. The right side is masculine. And your hips are usually that foundation of what you're holding. And so I had to look at, what am I holding for somebody else that's not mine to hold? What am I doing that's actually hurting myself? So again, I'm aware of it. I've been able to fix my hips, rock on. Okay. Was dancing last night with some of my girlfriends. It was great. I know my hips back in action and my eye is improving. But I've done everything that I needed to do on the physical level, like seeing the incredible doctors at the World of Wellness. Both Dr. O and Dr. Phil are amazing, and they both helped treat me while I was in Pittsburgh with my hip. I also came home and worked with another doctor here in Tampa, Dr. Britt at Spectra Wellness. Amazing. They are all incredible chiropractors with their own unique brand of healing, and I'm indebted to all of them. I also took lots of supplements because I needed to get inflammation down in my body. And if you look, most of what's causing things to go awry in your body is inflammation. Inflammation is usually happening because we're stuffing our emotions, right? And we're not dealing with them. So it's not separate, it's all one. So you have to do what you need to do in the physical to address your physical body. And you also have to do what you need to do energetically and emotionally to help shift things, right? All right. So, why are so many people sick and chronically ill? Well, I believe it's because they stuffed their emotions for too long. So, let's break that word emotion down. Okay. Emotion is supposed to be energy in motion, right? It's supposed to move, it's supposed to get up and out. And when energy gets stuck, it causes dis-ease or disease within our body. The energy then pools in an area and it causes a misalignment, a malfunction. It's literally a disruption in the frequency to get your attention. Your body's like, hello, you need to address the root cause of your problem. Louise Hay was onto something in her book, Heal Your Life from A to Z, right? She started it. And now I'm working with a couple other books. One that says, it's called Does Your Body Lie? And another one, The Secret Language of Your Body. And it actually helps me understand what are those stuck emotions that are causing illnesses within the body, so that when I use my soul intelligence method, I'm able to zone in on what those stuck emotions are, where they are, and help them move up and out. And that's really one of the ways that I partner with a lot of our functional medicine doctors, because they know for us to heal holistically, right, we have to address the entire problem and the entire root cause of the problem, both the physical and the energetic. So, Louise Hay actually was someone who healed herself from cancer using positive affirmations. But she really changed her repetitive thought patterns and ultimately her beliefs. And what you need to know is repetitive thoughts do become beliefs, and then you start seeing your world through this cloudy lens, right? If you believe you're a victim, everybody's going to be out to get you in every situation. But if you believe we're all connected, we're all one, you can't possibly injure somebody else, because that would be injuring yourself, right? So have you ever wondered, like, some people just appear to have lived this amazingly charmed life, while others go from one trauma or devastation or drama to another? It's because what you believe is what manifests. And the reason is, it's how our brain works. All right, we talked on the Holistic Truth recently about how your gut is your second brain. All right, we're going to talk about your first brain for a second, because that's where everything starts, right? That's the inspiration, that's the idea, that's that spark, right, in this brain. Well, in the electromagnetic field, it's the electric spark. So it's got to start there. But do you know that what's going on up here is only 5% of our mind? 95% lies in our subconscious mind. I'm glad we have a subconscious mind, right? If we weren't driven by that, we would not breathe while we're sleeping, right? So we do need one, but it's running the show 95% of the time. So how do you reprogram yourself if you know the self-limiting beliefs and all these negative emotions and thoughts are stuck somewhere in your body? You don't know where they are. You don't exactly know what those beliefs are, but they're running the show. How do you fix it? Right? Like, how do I get rid of it? What are these patterns, or archetypes that I keep repeating? So that the way you can shift it, there's a lot of different ways you could shift it. But it's all within your power to be able to shift it and to attain that love and connection within yourself, right? That's what it means to tap into your soul intelligence. And that's actually where my method comes in. I actually have a method where I use a book of charts and a pendulum. Don't be afraid. I set up a sacred space. I make sure that everybody is protected and that we are connected to the divine of all that is, a higher power, and making sure that whatever shifts goes immediately back for transmutation. And once I set up that sacred space, I ask to shift what's ever in your best and highest good. Now, if I know a physical illness that's happening and I know the emotions associated with that, or I'm working with someone and they share with me what's going on in their personal life or what's going on in their work life or what's the struggles are, I can certainly focus on those areas and ask to shift what's in their best and highest good. And it's really interesting. Most people are blown away. I've worked with actually several different doctors. One doctor was having trouble with her foot, right, for weeks on end. And she just couldn't get her foot to come back and not hurt. So I did one session for her. And the very next day, she sent me a text. She goes, I can't believe it. My foot no longer hurts. And she was not wanting to move forward with a very difficult legal situation. And she wasn't feeling her power. She wasn't tapped into her soul intelligence, that best version of her. She was allowing other people to run the show instead of leading from that strong intelligence place, right? So that was one example. And I have so many, but it's really incredible, right? Because we don't know what's stuck down there. The other part about I started with the electromagnetic field, right? So the brain is the electric spark. The magnetic spark is that emotional intelligence. It's the emotions. That's what really carries the charge. So if you ever read the book a long time ago, The Secret, it was all about manifestation and how do you manifest what you want. Well, it focused more on thought and intention than it did on the emotion. What gets your subconscious mind the attention is the emotion. And you always want to state whatever it is that you're really wanting to see and to feel and experience with those emotional feeling words, because that's what gets the attention. But you also want to say it in the positive, right? If I tell you right now, do not focus on a purple elephant, immediately that comes to your mind, the purple elephant. And I said, don't do it. So you always want to do it in the positive, right? You always want to see, what does it mean to be living my best life? Who am I with? What am I doing? How are we celebrating? What's the connection? Where are we going? What are we doing with one another? What's our mission, our collective purpose, right? So when your mind and your heart and your soul are all in alignment, that's what allows your body to function, right? The other cool thing is your heart's energy field is so much greater than your brain's energy field. When you feel into your heart and you allow it to check any situation, it never steers you wrong. Your heart, your intuition, and your soul, okay, the divine, eternal part of you knows the truth. What takes us off track is this 5% that's running on the show. All right. So, how do you personally tap into your own soul intelligence, right? Apart from having a session with me and learning to get whatever it is out of the way, you have to reduce your distractions. That's number one. You got to slow your roll. Okay. And this is coming from a type A personality. So, I'm not saying it's easy. Turn off the TV. Make time to embrace the silence, right? You have to go within. Now, one of the things I find helpful is to meditate in addition to prayer. I feel like they are, opposite sides of the same coin. To me, prayer is sending out your intention into the world, asking the divine or the universe what you really truly want. And meditation is receiving the answer. It's being open to receive and allowing that flow, that divinity to come through you. But if you're so distracted and you're always doing and you're always busy, you're not able to get quiet to embrace the silence. Now, I will say a lot of the time I use guided meditations for me, simply because it's easier for me to get myself into that place if I allow someone else to guide me there. Some people can sit completely in silence and just embrace that and go within on their own inward journeys. For me, it's easier. I've got lots of favorites, and if you want to know any, I will be happy to. If you send me a direct message, I'll be happy to send you some of my favorites. But spend time in nature. That's another great way to get quiet and to just listen to the birds. I feel very fortunate where I live. Joe was teasing me about it being sunny all the time in Florida. That's one of the reasons I chose to move here a long time ago. It's also one of the reasons why I live in this really great, quiet cul-de-sac where we have a pond and birds and wildlife. I want that calmness. I seek that peace. So I highly recommend, finding time each day to do that. So you have to go within. You have to spend time in connection with yourself, with a power greater than yourself. Whether you choose to make that meditation or prayer or journaling, I actually use all of those methods, or talking to unseen beings or angels or people that have passed on. Any way that you can get in connection with yourself and someone greater than yourself. You also must become truly aware and acknowledge your feelings. That's what fuels our life, right? That's what we bring in and magnifies what we begin, with just that thought, and truly becomes a belief. I don't want you to be afraid to feel. It's actually what being human's all about, to feel, express, experience. Feeling really is the secret. Neville Goddard got it right, right? Um, and just remember, I know our subconscious minds are in the driver's seat and it can be really powerful, but it only pays attention to the thoughts around the feelings. So when you feel, when you believe you deserve something, you get it, positive or negative. It's how the quantum field of the universe works, because everyone and everything is energy. We all know from, I think it's now fourth grade science class. I was corrected by a teacher recently. I used to say seventh grade. But we're all protons, neutrons, electrons spinning around. We all have energetic fields. And so when you recognize that, it stands to reason that energy can get trapped in people, places, or things, just like it can get trapped in your mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual body, right? Dr. Joe Dispenza does a great job really explaining. He's a neuroscientist, and really explaining how, when we're not sending our cells or our DNA new information, we keep repeating these same patterns and we get trapped repeating those same patterns. So we get stuck, and we repeat our conditions, right? We're not sending ourselves new information. We keep doing the same things over and over and over again. And you know what that means, right? When you do something over and over and over again, that's the definition of insanity. Not saying you're a crazy person, but just saying, when we're constantly telling ourselves the exact same thing and we're not changing our inner condition, that's why chronic illness stays with us, because something has to shift inside for the cells to do something different, for the cells to know to do something different. So, my soul intelligence method really truly helps shift out the stuck energy in your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies. It can bring up some of what's stuck in your subconscious mind to your conscious mind's awareness so you can acknowledge it and release it. It can help clear away old beliefs that are no longer serving you, some old patterns or archetypes, right? Anything that you've been suppressing, so that you can more easily go within and become aligned to your true calling, your mission, your vision, your values, your purpose, your why, right? So, what is soul intelligence? Well, to me, it's my why. Okay. And I think it's the ultimate why for all of us. To me, there really is no other why, right? To help make the world healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to help raise the consciousness of the planet, the human race, so we can all live with more love and peace and joy and alignment with our higher selves, right? And stay in connection with all that is, the divine, and one another. So that's truly what it means to me. Now, I do want to share with you that if you're interested in actually experiencing the soul intelligence method, I'm going to be doing a free webinar on June 14th at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you're interested in finding out a little bit more, you can go to soulintelligencemethod.com. And I will be able to let you know how you can sign up for that. And I'm also feeling called to share this method with other people. So what I'm doing now is I'm teaching healthcare professionals and healers and people who are interested in making a difference my method, the soul intelligence method. And why does this method work? Well, I have a top 10 reasons why it works. So I think it's kind of cool. So I'm going to give you my top 10. All right. The first one, it's founded in science. Okay. I'm not making it up. It's the science of bioenergetics, which is the relationship between our emotional health and our physical health. Two, it helps release the physical, emotional, and mental tension that is at the root of most of our chronic illnesses. And it addresses those three Okay. It addresses those underlying issues that contribute to dis-ease within the body or that dissonance in our frequency. It is, number four, a holistic approach that considers the interconnectedness of our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. Five, it helps to upregulate or downregulate our genes by changing this inner environment through our lifestyle and behavior, right? I told you, if we're not giving those cells new information, you keep repeating the same thing. You'll downregulate those genes and keep that disease locked in. Six, it requires zero patient compliance. Okay. For you too, all you get to do is receive. That's it. You don't have to do anything during a soul intelligence session except sit and be and receive. Okay. Seven, it uses a combination of techniques. I use energy work, I use visualization and meditation to create that positive inner environment and give you tools to help you maintain that. Eight, it addresses the impact of trauma and stuck patterns on our emotional and physical health. Nine, it helps individuals identify and release self-limiting beliefs that are holding them back. Anybody out there ever feel like they're not enough? No matter what you do, doesn't matter? Anybody feel like they're invisible? Yeah, like everybody else's needs matters but your own. Those are self-limiting beliefs. And guess what? Your outer world is reflecting that. So you're probably with the partner who's not acknowledging you or recognizing you or your worth because deep down, you don't believe you're worthy of being seen. That's an issue we would work on. Okay. And feeling like you're not enough. That happens a lot in childhood, right? Trying to get somebody's attention. So you always felt like you had to meet or exceed expectations. Okay. Classic overachiever right here. All right. So that means I had to believe my value, my worth was enough without having to overachieve to do it. So I still work on pulling back and not pushing through what my capacity truly is, right? In my ability to help others. All right. So those are just a couple of self-limiting beliefs. And 10, okay, it provides a safe and supportive space for individuals to explore their emotions and their inner world, which leads to greater self-awareness and personal growth. And the best part, you don't have to relive the trauma, right? In sessions like where it's counseling, right? You have to relive the trauma to feel the emotion, to express it, right? In this environment, we're able to bring those emotions up and acknowledge them and not necessarily have to relive the trauma. Some people do have a release. If anybody cries during a session, I love it. I call it holy water. I believe it's a great release and that's something that can happen. Some people feel tired afterwards, right? I tell them that's great. That's like an energetic massage you just had. So go with it. Some people get energized and they're ready to go. So everybody experiences the energy shifts in a different way. But the one thing they all share in common is it works and they love that it works. So if you're interested in learning more, you can let me know. You can also email me, Kristine with a K at nutritionalfrontiers.com, and I'll be happy to tell you all about the Soul Intelligence Method, anything about the free webinar I'm holding at 6 p.m. on June 14th. Or if you're really interested in learning how to add this method to your practice so that you can help other people heal, I would be happy to share with you and send you a link so that you can go on to, I believe it's soulintelligencemethod.com/yes. All right. Well, I'm very excited to have been able to spend this much time with you talking about soul intelligence. As you can tell, it's my passion. And I'm really delighted that I have the opportunity to use this method, not only with our healthcare professionals, but also with our internal team. So I hope everybody has a soul intelligence led day. And I will look forward to talking with any of you about my program going forward. So bye for now.